Hey everyone, so Aqua, the water deity of Genshin Simpa, will be coming out in a couple of weeks. And I know there's a ton of players that just pull the water dragon Neuvillette. And they are curious to know, hey, does this unit at C0 works with Furina? So I want to discuss two things. Can Aqua work with Neuvillette? And why Aqua works with Neuvillette? Alright, so as we know, Neuvillette at C0 has a form of restriction. And the gameplay in the background is, well, basically I'm just using him with 2 stacks. His passive gives a ton of damage bonus when you, Neuvillette, or any teammates in your party trigger some form of elemental reaction. This is actually kind of nice, so Neuvillette doesn't have to be the one to cause the reaction, just anyone on the team. Also, if you didn't know, let's say if you only have 2 elements, Hydro and Electro, that will give you 1 stack, right? But let's say if the enemy has an elemental shield or some form of elemental aura, once any one of them interacts with it, you will get 1 stack from the passive this way, which is actually kind of cool. Alright, so let's get into the Neuvillette and Aqua discussion. First, can she work with Neuvillette? I would say yeah. Honestly, she could work. Whatever damage bonus that Neuvillette loses out in his passive, just know that she will probably make up for it with her personal damage. I feel like a ton of people, they are forgetting that she will actually do some damage. You have to remember, she scales off max HP. Although the percentages isn't that high compared to like Neuvillette, it seems like it will dish out a good amount of damage. I could confidently say that at C0. But DPS, you don't want to hear that. You want to hear about the synergy. Firstly, something very minor is that her elemental skill lasts very long. So when you pop that, the duration is, I believe, 30 seconds. And it has a cooldown of 20 seconds. So that's 100% uptime. Meaning that you won't really have to be switching to her that often. We're not sure about the energy particles that Aqua's Pokemon will generate. I believe they will generate some. So if you kind of loosen out in some particles to get Neuvillette's burst up, there's a high chance that she could kind of help you out with that. But you won't really be using her for energy. Unless if you're like really down bad on energy, then I guess having her as a second Hydro unit on your team could generate particles for him and he will generate particles for her. But let's talk about the burst. Everybody wants to know what's the potential of having, I won't go as far as saying a Bennett burst on Neuvillette, but I'll go as far as saying a Bennett burst on Neuvillette. So if you have Neuvillette, you kind of realize that you dip into that red marker a lot, and very quickly, as soon as you start popping that charge attack, it goes straight down, and then once you do another one, it goes back up, and then it goes straight down. It keeps fluctuating in that kind of way. I know, surprisingly, I don't ever feel like threatened or feel some type of way that he's going to die, but you need to keep into consideration that she will be taking away some HP from him too. So I'm very curious to see how that will work out, but I don't feel that it will be an issue. So my Neuvillette at level 70 C0 with a prototype Amber is dealing between 10 to 15,000 unbuffed with maybe a stack or 2 from his passive active. I don't do maths and stuff, but if the Hydro Archon has max, let's just call it stacks on her burst, I feel like that's going to double Neuvillette's damage, his entire kit. It's just from experience from the game, I've seen some crazy stuff, especially with a C6 Bennett. I know it's a very stupid comparison, but I've seen non-pyro unit within C6 Bennett has their normal physical attack damage almost doubled within it, and that's doing pyro damage. But yes, that's a very stupid example to give, but let me give a next one. Sometimes, you know how Genshin Impact, they give us some combat related events. If you see some of the buffs, sometimes these things gives you 100% damage bonus, and you could clearly see your units doing double of the damage they usually does. I have witnessed my Dea going from 18k burst all the way up to like 35 to 40k damage just from that damage bonus. So that's why I say the stack that Neuvillette will lose out at C0 from running another Hydro unit on your team, it will be made up not only from off-field damage from her, but also from her damage bonus that she will provide to him. Another great example that I love to give is Linné. He exceeds in a monopyro team, but it doesn't mean that you have to run him in a monopyro team. There's a lot of times where I have switched out and run characters like Zhongli, characters like Mona, characters like Rosaria, even Yai Miko, and you know, I still get my clear. Maybe it's probably like 5 seconds faster or maybe 10 seconds for the most with his monopyro team, but it really cuts close a lot of the time. Hell, even sometimes, let's say you're going against an enemy that has a specific shield, let's say a pyro shield. You won't want to bring a monopyro team against that. So that's why I improvise. And guess what? I get the clear. If the clear time wasn't good and satisfying to me, then I wouldn't use it and I wouldn't even bring this up for consideration. But the clear times are good. So keep that in mind. So to answer the question, can the Hydro Archon and Neuvillette work together? Yes. Leave it awesome below what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.
Stars shining really, moon visions in my sight, landing nowhere within sight. Had to take her with me, she was tasty to my sight, so I had a couple bites. I'm offended, there's no falling.